Let us start with a sound of a gong. Sound is one of the main principles of creation. As you can imagine, at the beginning was sound. Sound and geometry is how creation comes into being. It is through sound that beings in all of creation come together. Sound, as you know, is a vibration. And so when beings have their own unique vibration, they start resonating with others. And so that's how we create soul families that can be very large. And when we actually use sound that would be external to us, that we would call music, then we can synchronize our own vibration into oneness. And this is very magical, and this is why the yogis use chanting. Every time we use sound, we can really come into an amazing, powerful alignment. Music also evokes emotion, and emotion or feeling is very important to the opening of the sacred heart that we all have. And so I'm gonna start with some sound. And it is sound that permeates time and space. So no matter where we are, sound can unite us. I have learned from Divine Mother that when we chant Om, it is really, from what I've learned from her, the most powerful sound that we can use to actually change the world. And so an idea would be to use Om with as many people as possible to actually create a planetary change. I do believe that if enough of us came together and chanted Om together, even though if we don't hear each other, it doesn't matter because the quantum field could hear us, then we could really create a huge shift in the world. So I just want to see who's here with us today. And please do let me know in the chat if you have not worked with us before, just so that I don't repeat stuff you already know. We are on a journey that can be called many names: ascension. It can be called the great shift, the great turning. It can be called the end of the fourth world, beginning of the fifth world. But it can also be called the return of the mother. And so it is the mother who has actually returned to this world. Planet Earth used to be the world of the mother. Planet Earth was not called Earth. The original frequency of this planet was Mu, as the whole planet. And so at the beginning of all things, and you can maybe even recognize that the word Mu, or the sound Mu, is actually a sound that in many languages still is the word for the mother in some form. And for us, we still use the letter M in the word mother. We have in German Mutter. So it's Mu, that's the beginning of the world that we live in. This used to be a planet of mother love, mother nature. And in our human consciousness, we learned that nature is mother, and that we related to nature as something external. But actually, nature is the body of our cosmic mother nature. And we are inside her body. And it is not always obvious that we are inside a body of nature, and that our own body is also a body of nature, also made of elements. Mother Nature creates all of creation through 5 elements. So when we learn to communicate and work with the 5 elements that we have, which is water for us mainly, the main element here creating life, then we have the mineral earth element, we have the air, fire, and ether. So magicians, yogis, mystics, they all learn to communicate with these 5 elements to actually be aligned with the highest principles of creation. So when we learn from nature, we actually have a scientific discipline called biomimicry. And this is something the Divine Mother has been speaking about a lot. She has been asking that we learn to mimic nature. In mimicking nature, we find the true flow of creation, the original intent of creation. And as humanity, we have been out of balance with nature since really the fall of Mu, and even more so the fall of Atlantis. And the only thing why this fall happened, and not just once but twice, is because beings became disconnected from the flow of nature. So sometimes we think of advancement as being able to do without nature, but that is actually devolution. Evolution is always aligned with the evolution of nature, our nature. Cosmic Mother Nature that has been communicating with me very audibly and physically, really every day since 2017, but also before then in different ways. So now in 2021, she is obviously here now, communicating through all of us. And that's the beauty of working with Divine Mother. She is really the mother of all. She is the mother of those who don't know that they have Mother Nature. And she is the mother of those who work with her and actually consciously listen to her and then help her to reestablish her presence on planet Earth. So she has been teaching me about all this that I have been sharing in the Green Tara group. We have a website, we have Facebook groups, and we also have a YouTube channel where we share messages from Cosmic Mother Nature, Divine Mother, all her forms. And so she has been talking about biomimicry, about mimicking nature. And that when we learn to mimic nature, we will once again come into thriving, the thriving that has been forgotten for millions of years. So our original blueprint that she showed me, and she gives me memories of different lifetimes in different places. And I don't always know if it's really me or if I'm just truly experiencing another lifetime through another person. And it doesn't matter to me so much because I get to see through the eyes of whoever that being was at that time in these ancient times. So she has been taking me to the original creation of life on planet Earth and how we used to be very angelic in our light bodies, but also very elemental. And so I would call us kind of like elemental angels. We had bodies that were fully sustained by life force. We were not in any primitive state. So whatever history that we have been learning at school, that is not our true history at all, because we don't ever learn about Mu. We don't learn about Atlantis. We don't learn about the true origin of life and how it is created through two different things. And one of them is definitely just Mother Nature, but also divinity. There is a divine intent, divine geometry behind all of creation. And so when beings first started to really experiment on planet Earth, on Mu, they were in a completely different state of being. The state of being is very much what we call the rainbow body. And maybe you are familiar with the rainbow body. The rainbow body is really the key to our own, what we call now, enlightenment. So as a spiritual seeker, maybe, you know that enlightenment seemed to be a big deal in spirituality. But what it really is, it's very surprising. It is not some kind of goal where we go and achieve something and then we have accomplished our purpose. It is actually just getting rid of all the stuff that happened in between and then going back to the original blueprint, which is enlightenment. So enlightenment is our true nature. And so that's why we hear, in some traditions, they refer to us as gods. And we have this godlike structure inside of us that actually is really dormant for most of us at this moment, but it will be reignited. So at the beginning of all things, when beings had this blueprint, the rainbow body, we can think of like Aboriginals who speak about the rainbow serpent of creation. So that is not a myth. It is actually the original creation story. So at that time, we came to the earth as rainbow beings. And even though we created physical bodies that actually all had brown skin, so at the beginning in Mu, we were all brown people. And even when you meet with beings like, let's say we call her now Gaia, but there is a soul, there is a being, there is a real living being in the earth, or the earth herself. And we can see her physically, as a planet. But that's not really the only way that she can show up to us. That's why we have, the legends of Gaia. Gaia, I think it was a Greek word or Roman word that was used to name her. I don't think that she refers to her that way, but you can meet her. She can really, through, meditations and through activation of your Kundalini, where your consciousness expands, you can have encounters with these beings. So when I encountered what we would call Gaia, she is an Aboriginal African woman. And so her skin is dark, and that is our Mother Earth when she comes as a person. So it's pretty amazing. So at the beginning of all things, even when we had bodies, we actually had bodies that functioned differently. We didn't need to intake energy from other sources, such as animals, or anything else. We connected naturally to elements. And so our bodies were actually sustained, and they were designed to be sustained by elemental substances, meaning water, air, sun, meaning fire, and obviously soil, where we received life force from our earth, from the mother. So at that point, we could enjoy things like fruit. We did enjoy fruit, but for us, it was not a necessity. It was more like just, hey, there is some fruit. Let me enjoy this. This is interesting. I want to taste it. But it was not at all done this way. So we didn't have needs. When we were placed or invited to participate in creation on Mother Earth, we were given everything that we need. And this is also something that we now call the New Earth. It is just going back to this original blueprint. So my thing is that I've always been traveling out of body since I was a very small child. And I think it's part of my mission to go to other dimensions, to visit, and to be able to communicate with beings in these dimensions and to bring back knowledge and then share it. And so I have been to the New Earth several times, and the New Earth operates on the same principles as the original Mu continent. But of course, we are moving forward in evolution, so there is also an element of evolution. So in Mu, the beings were given everything through life force. So you would have complete sustenance, you would have no need for anything, and you could integrate fully into nature in a very advanced way. And so I call it advancement. So definitely not a primitive way of living or being. It's a very advanced way of consciousness and being able to fully integrate and mimic nature. And as you would always know how nature operates, your life would always be harmonious for all of us. And so when that got disconnected, we got disconnected for many different reasons, but that's not why we are here today. But we got disconnected. The first disconnect happened in Mu, and then it just got worse and worse and worse in a way. But I think it's all by design. It's just the one big experiment. And so the disconnect that happened in Atlantis was the final one that we know, where we had the major change, the end of the third world and the beginning of the fourth world. And so now we have been living in a society that is fully dependent on something that we called money, on jobs, and on these systems that we created, maybe calling them advancement, but they are far from being advanced. So our society really became so disconnected from the original consciousness that we no longer perceived, as you know, for the last 12,000 years, life as it really is. And because we got disconnected more and more from nature, and we had this patriarchal consciousness that was killing nature, actually intentionally, trying to disconnect us more and more and more and more from the original mother, so that we become completely enslaved by the systems. And it became so normal that you would think now this is normal. And people would think if you have a lot of money, that's really great, you are in abundance. But none of that is true divine abundance. So our world, as the original mother embodied in the planet, she became more and more and more depleted by the unconsciousness of the beings who would reside here. And this is obviously not you, otherwise you would not be doing this work. But we are at the end of the fourth world, and we are coming into the fifth world. And we are coming into this big expansion, in a way, restoration of the consciousness of the mother and the entire planet, but also in our bodies. So our bodies are going through a major change. And when the body changes, the DNA changes, the cells and the waters change within us, also our internal fire, then we can have an external change that will be very positive. And this is what we would call the new earth. We are going really through an unbelievable quantum leap, as you can imagine. But this quantum leap really could not happen without us doing the work. And so you and me and many others, we embodied on this planet with a mission. And we knew that we came here for something really different, and that we didn't come here to perpetuate this slavery of human soul and spirit and the body, even though it seemed like everybody else was doing it. And so what is unnatural is that humans had to go to work. And it's not that we are lazy, and I want to explain it. It is unnatural for humans, actually, and not the original blueprint, to go and do some 9-to-5 jobs. It is unnatural for humans having to earn money to buy stuff. That is not the original blueprint. The original blueprint is a very advanced form of creation. We were supposed to exist in complete love for life, with each other in oneness, in pure harmony, and just constantly explore our creativity. Our creativity is actually something that is a very divine power within us. And it's not that we all are artists, but in a way, we all are cosmic divine artists. All beings are. All beings are meant to use the creative power of the mind and heart. That's how creation was designed. So when you have a world like what we've had here for quite a bit, is that we had a system that tried to disconnect us and our children, and generations upon generations from two things: our connection to nature, our creativity. So the two things that were the most important to us and to our thriving, the system tried to actually take us away from it. So our education system, and of course, the money and the work system that we got so used to. So as long as we have these systems, we really cannot fully experience our thriving and divinity. So with the work of Divine Mother that I have been doing and our team has been doing, and we have some of you meeting every single day, which is absolutely, admirable. And we have been doing this for more than a year, really, working every day on kind of restoring this ancient blueprint. This ancient blueprint is held within the planetary network that some people can call the grid. As long as the grid is so distorted and full of this ancient information, and I mean, let's not call it ancient because it sounds like a good word, but I want to say millions of years of distortion. So this millions of years of distortion is held within the grid of the earth. And so we all tap into it when we are born here, but we want something different. We want the new earth, and we want the new earth to be the original blueprint where all beings thrive without these, crooked systems. So we need to change the consciousness within the grid, within the collective network, within the collective consciousness. And because some of us have been trained for this, to be here now, and we are here now doing this work, I know that even a small team can achieve a planetary change. And so we used to have the avatars who would come here. And as you know, we had avatars like the Buddha and Jesus and, so many different ones. And they could achieve planetary changes and create big shifts in consciousness that then lasted for thousands of years. But now we are embodied here as a collective avatar. And so as a collective avatar of those that I would refer to as light workers, but really it's much more than being a light worker. It's about being the bringer of consciousness. And so bringing the new consciousness. So Divine Mother asked, and I work with her every single day. It's part of my mission to really be there for her and be able to embody her, and then to understand what is needed on planet Earth. And I know that I'm not the only one. There are so many of us here. So again, I just want to say this is how the information comes to me. She asked yesterday that the conditions were perfect on planet Earth to actually plant new seeds and plant seeds of divine abundance, divine prosperity, the original blueprint, so that we can again have peace on Earth. And for her, the connection between abundance and peace is you cannot have one without the other. So we have so many systems again on planet Earth that are completely based in obviously lack, scarcity, and depleting of resources, and trying to own resources, hoard resources, and so on and so on. It goes very deep actually. So it is obviously not the only thing that is needed on planet Earth, but is one of the really most important things that are needed to have a world of complete thriving for all. When all beings thrive, they really uplift their consciousness. And of course, that also requires that they reconnect to the flow of life force in nature. So that brings about huge changes in every system. When you take away these systems that really were the pillars of the scarcity consciousness or unconsciousness, you can take away a lot of the educational systems. You take away all the debt. You take away a lot of worry. You take away a lot of fear. You take away a lot of emotional garbage from the field that is around the earth and in the earth. So it goes so deep. You can take away the military. You can take away the land ownership. You can take away stealing, crime, war, all of it, right? So how deep does it go? It goes so deep. It goes deep into who we are, because we have been, trained for millions of years in this collective consciousness that we need something, that we need money so that we can experience life fully. So we're going to change that. Divine Mother told me to work on this every day, twice a day. And the reason for twice a day is because we have a group in Australia, and obviously the time zones do not allow for everyone to get together. So we will be doing this work today. For me, this is the 16th of October, and we will do it on the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. When she told me to finish this mission on the 20th, I actually wasn't aware of the fact that it's a full moon. And she explained it last night. She said full moon energy obviously will help the culmination, and it will be the apex of this effort. But the planting of seeds is really important. So if you feel called to do this, please do show up with the same Zoom information, and I will send some reminders as well. Ideally, the more we do it, of course, the better it gets. And we will be calling upon the great ones. There are so many beings that we have been working with, but this is the family of beings that I have been working with, not by choice, but more by, I'm going to call it lineage. So we all have different channels of energy running through our being. And these channels of energy can be from our original creation. So let's say it would be your cosmic parents. And then it could be all the beings that you are in a soul family with. So we all have maybe the same, similar, or even different soul families. We can have different star origin, we can have different cosmic origin, but when we say we call upon the great ones, we call upon the great ones who are the guardians of evolution, of planet Earth and humanity. And so whatever channel you have connected to you, those will be the beings that come through you. But also we have, like the avatars who have been really guiding humanity, the lineage of Babaji, Yogananda, Christ, and so on. So whatever it is that is for you, it will work through you and through us. Every day we will be using the same audio. The audio is actually 16 minutes. And it is a channeled transmission from a being called Orin. And I don't know if you're familiar as a lady, her name is Sanaya Roman. She wrote many beautiful books about soul power and about working with these master beings. and she has many beautiful channeled transmissions. And our team has been working with Oren a lot. And so we know the purity of this work and also the power of this work. So this is a beautiful visualization, this image of the cosmic I am. So I love whoever created this. I bought this actually so that we can use it officially. There is always a core to creation. That's why you talk about source, we talk about central sun, we talk about sun, and then around it are all the beings who are connected into the same source. And so here on planet Earth, not only are we connected to the core of the earth, but we also are connected to the sun, we are connected to the central sun, and we are connected to the cosmic I am. And so this is all us as being one being. And this is a beautiful visualization with our rainbow bodies. So we will do that. This is really sacred work, important work, and it's very powerful work. If you are clairvoyant, you will see that beings come to you and they will surround you as soon as we call, and they will help us to plant these seeds of abundance. And also part of what we are doing, we are completely dissolving any unconsciousness related to scarcity, to lack, to money, any of that. So that's our mission for the next few days, and let's do it. Oh, there will be chanting of Om, and please do chant your Om out loud if you can, just so that you are in your space, in your, etheric presence, in your quantum field. And even though we won't hear each other, we will be connected through the Om.
Greetings from Oren. Imagine now that you can look with your inner eyes and see all around you all those who have joined, the souls, the beingness, as if the room has grown very vast and thousands are now with you, united in the intent to assist humanity, to come together as a group, to call upon the great ones. The great ones have such power and energy that one moment of their response can transform many energies on earth. And their energy is so powerful they can only send it to a group, for it takes many to hold each aspect of their energy. And you will receive a piece that is just for you of their response, a piece of light or energy. And also they know that when a group calls, that the consciousness of humanity is ready for their energy and can use it to change conditions for the better. So all of you now, first we will call the radiant ones, the enlightened ones, the masters and beings of light. Imagine now that you are sending out an inner call. We are ready. We are asking for your assistance for humanity. And sense all around you the shimmering light as it increases, as many beings of light come to join you. And the masters are coming. The angels and archangels, whoever you sense. And there are those who are even higher, who reside over many other domains and dimensions, of which the earth plane is but one. And those great ones are the ones we will call upon together. So begin to gather your intent. And together we will sound an Om that says, we are ready, we want your assistance. Please assist us in changing thoughts of scarcity into thoughts of abundance. So take a deep breath. One long Om. Om. It is as if the universe stands still for a moment. A breath is gathered. The great ones hear your call. Feel their attention being turned upon all of you. In a moment, they can scan the level of light in each of your head centers, knowing exactly how much light and energy to send you and to the group. Breathe in now, as their response now flows outward. Receive it into the light in your head and let it flow down into your heart center now. And as a group, imagine that you are joining heart centers. You can find your own energy easily as you combine with the group, forming one enormous radiant heart center, becoming even more a reflection of the solar light. And imagine that you as a group are joining your head centers into one enormous radiant light. 2 tiers of light. And the great ones are now broadcasting a light again to awaken even further your head center and your heart center. And begin to let that energy spin outward from your heart center, thinking of your friends and your family. And this light is a light that is spinning away, loosening those thoughts of scarcity, and opening up places of abundance. Making that wheel of love a line of light from your heart center to the heart center of everyone in your family, all of your friends, so that as the great ones transmit, the energy flows down to the group, into you, and out in one movement. And let that go out as more and more people are drawn to your wheel of love. Let that go out to all the people you know. Receiving and sending, receiving and sending. For it is such a vast energy that the great ones have sent, that you need to transmit to more and more people to receive all that you can. And imagine transmitting to all of your neighbors, any who can resonate with this energy, and to the city that you live in. Seeing everyone become abundant with love, with energy, with the radiant well-being of their souls, prosperity, and add to this all of the neighboring towns until you can expand into your state, into your country. And imagine now that a radiant heart light is going out from all of you, joining with light workers all around the world. For thousands are here from all over the world with you now. That you are encircling the globe with the radiant light, coming out of your heart centers, the light of the Great Ones, transmitted through you. And each one of you is a point of light, a beacon of light. You might imagine that you are many feet up from the earth, and that you are now going to turn a searchlight on that is going to come through you. And that light will travel outward to the earth plane below you and begin to disintegrate and to dissolve those thoughts of scarcity. And the light that you are, that your soul is, will replace it with thoughts of abundance for all, so that greed can turn into sharing and competition can turn into cooperation. And there can be enough food and shelter and warmth and love for all. So let the light of your soul and the light of the Great Ones flow out of you now. Just imagining, just picturing. Perhaps you can find those thoughts of scarcity like bubbles and just pop them. Or as a substance that you surround in light until they dissolve and transform. Sense how different the world would be if there was abundance and a belief in abundance. If everyone felt they had enough to share, to give. Imagine if all your loved ones felt abundant. Such an abundance that all of humanity could give back to the animal kingdom. Give them back their forests and trees. Working in cooperation with all life. Just hold that vision of abundance and imagine all the ways that it would change humanity. For each moment you imagine this, you are adding a new thought form, a new substance of thought energy that others will pick up. An abundance of clean water, of food for all life, of crisp, pure air, of vitality and life force energy. So much abundance that it is overflowing. Sense this in your own life. If you had everything you could possibly want, and your greatest challenge would be, how could you give to others? How could you give to the earth, to other kingdoms? And that searchlight, that light is being turned upon your own mind. The thoughts that surround you, the great ones, are assisting you in dissolving the thoughts of scarcity, so that you can begin to lift that fog and look out and know and make decisions based upon a belief in abundance. And create abundance in your own life. Think of all the energy in the universe. It is unlimited, it is abundant. And matter is truly converted energy. As you play in the subtle energies, as you learn the infinity that is there, you can create this infinity of abundance in your reality through your increasing skill with the energy of the higher dimensions, which knows no limitation, no scarcity. And you can just feel those thoughts flowing out of you of abundance, of light. You have done a magnificent job. The great ones have sent their energy. And now they are asking that all of you simply make a continuous perhaps 2 or 3, and imagine all of your energy traveling out and encircling all life on the planet. Take a deep breath.
Thank you. And I love that we got to hear Christina's daughter. We need the children to bring in this new consciousness, and that's what they are doing. So this is the work that we will be doing the next few days. This work is absolutely incredibly powerful and important. You know what your mission is. I know what my mission is, and we might also know what our collective mission is. Our collective mission of this collective avatar that is here on planet Earth is to be completely restructuring reality. We are not here to break anything and take bits and pieces of it and rebuild it. We are here to dissolve peacefully through consciousness and energy. And we are here to reactivate this ancient and yet new Earth consciousness. We brought it here with us. And I know that, when you were born and we were a little kid, I'm sure that you already knew that you came here for something really big and really different. And so the more that we do, the more also we receive in service. The way that this works is that we are always connected to all beings, even those very unconscious beings. We are all connected by this, planetary grid, planetary network. And so when enough of us get together, like you see here in this beautiful graphic, then we actually create something that is so powerful that everyone within that field also transforms. So even if people are doing nothing, they do benefit from what we do. And this is how it also is for us. There are beings that are the great ones who have been doing incredible work for humanity, for planet Earth. And they always call us to them And that's why the guru finds the student, not the other way around. They call us through frequency, through energy. And whenever we are ready, we get to work with them. Now, everything in evolution is also created in a way that there is kind of like hierarchy, but it is only in terms of openness to source. Some beings are incredibly open to source, and some beings are still learning to be more and more open. It always is the energy of love that opens us. And so when a being, let's say, has a little bit more luminosity than us, the being will really try to do everything they can to assist us in taking the next step. And when we take the next step and we gain in luminosity, in love, then the being who was supporting us actually gets to go also higher up. So that's why there is this beautiful game of life. It's a really beautiful game. And so it is a game of service. And that's why when we help others to come to the next level of their love for life, then also we get to go higher and higher and higher. So there is some reward in it too. So we will be doing this work every day until the 20th, until the full moon. Every day we will receive new guidance from Divine Mother. And if she has something to share, I will share it. And you guys, of course, share it too, please. If we just have the same mission every day, nothing changes. We will just use this short 16-minute work with Oren. And I will actually post a recording of this so that, we don't have to repeat all this information. For those of you who have the time, it will be very short. I will make it very short so that everybody can join if they want to. And the thing is that when we do it together, there's a big difference between listening to a recording and then doing it together in the same time and space in the quantum field. And so, I guess that must be the end of the event. So also, I know that many of you have the book, The 33 Codes. If you don't have it, it is available on our website, greentara.guru. This is a book that was given to us really through the Council of the New Earth to work with. It is a book that has been expanding this amazing rainbow light and light of consciousness on planet Earth, thanks to those who have the book. The book, it has to be a physical book. It is a very hardy book. I don't know if that's the word. It's hardcover, very thick, glossy paper, full color. This was a mission that was given to us by the Council of the New Earth to actually do something that is called technology. And so I have been working with the Council of the New Earth and with many different councils all my life since I was a child. And that's, the out-of-body travel. And so when I go to certain dimensions, we receive tasks. And this was a task to actually bring a book to this planet and to distribute it around the world. And the book, every single copy of the book actually is a vortex of source energy. So we have been receiving, emails and messages from people who actually had incredible experiences with the book. The book, the cover of it is a picture of Divine Mother in her rainbow serpent, rainbow dragon form. And also above her is a really picture of what we would call the Divine Father for us. So just the picture itself has immense energy and power, and the power of transformation. This book is transforming consciousness on planet Earth. Every single book is emanating so much rainbow light. It is really a biofield. It is like scalar technology. So it's immense source energy that actually is indestructible, and it cannot be diminished. As long as the book is in this world, there is emanation coming from it. And the book is alive, and the book doesn't have to be read, even though it has, beautiful artwork inside, and it has these coded words that explain creation. But it's more for future generations. I was told that future generations will be actually studying the book because it has all the information about how the 12 dimensions work. But at the moment, the power of the book, it's like buying a very large crystal and then placing the crystal onto the earth, and the crystal just does the work. So that's the power. So if you wish to be part of this mission, definitely do get a copy and anchor the light and play with the book. I recommend traveling with the book because that was the request from the council. each time the book is shipped around the world, it creates pathways of light. And these pathways remain in this planetary network. So I really think that the council had a plan that I call it this undercover plan, where we bring through something that seems like a book, and yet it is technology. And when it ships around the world, and when it is someplace somewhere in the world, wherever it is, in a home or somewhere outside, the book creates the vortex and it changes the grid. It's pretty amazing. Yes. And thank you for, working with the book, bringing it around the world. I also always take it with me in the car. I just have it on the seat. It's my passenger, because it always creates a pathway. It always does. And then for people who want to experiment, and that's what I've been doing, is putting it under the bed at night. And not every night for me, but almost every night, I go into the vortex and am able to have these multidimensional experiences. It's pretty incredible. So thank you for all that you do, all that you have done. I know that Divine Mother is incredibly grateful for those who can hear her and really work with her. You can imagine she was pushed out of this world, actually millions of years ago, and she was only able to sustain her presence really minimally. But now she is awakening in our bodies. And I just wanted to say just an update about ascension. Right now, everything is working through the body. So the body is becoming a portal to going to our multidimensionality. Maybe you have been feeling, I would call it internal fire the last few days. We have internal fire within us that is expanding, and it's changing our cells. Our water inside, we have cellular water inside, which is also part of Divine Mother's presence. She's actually boiling our cellular water right now. So maybe you feel heat, maybe you feel like drinking more water. Some people are having aches and pains, some people have fever, some people feel a cold. So there are different symptoms that come along with it, but it is just cosmic Mother Nature expanding through the 5 elements within the body. So that's what's happening right now on planet Earth. So thank you so much for all that you do. The next calls will be much shorter. Thank you for being here today. And again, this world is changing because of you. So thank you.